G'day. Still testing out the new microphone, guys. So let me know if you can't hear, and I'll just switch it over to the old one. Because I've done everything I can. And yeah. Anyway, how are we all? Lynn, I've heard from ya, love. She's doing good. She's okay. I saw her in my comments a couple of days ago. She's doing all right. I'd like to welcome everybody. You're listening to the Forbidden History Chronicles with NinjaCat 111 and Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series. I'm just going to read this introduction and then we'll get into it. Okay, this was written by Dezert-Owl. The Signs of the Times. In essence, Desert discusses the history of the world and how the unseen hand has been running it from the very beginning of time, who they are and how they have founded all of the first great civilizations that are found all around the world, about who the giants really were, the ancient Aryan caste and slave systems, the priesthoods, the anti-gravity V-manners, the Earth-based misnomered UFOs which are man-made, the control of all forms of communications, commerce, religion, mass media, pseudo-politics, etc. It is the grand deception that is used to control all of mankind, and all instituted through the three main religions of the world in particular, used as their grand cover. Their cyber code has been revealed to him because he has become adept within the study of the ancient alphabets, communications, symbolism, religion, custom, law, cosmology, and mythology, not to mention the fallacy of today's political science and pseudoscience in particular. Desert can also define the true nature of their warfare, their shell game of bringing one civilization up for their temporary use and then taking it down for the next 500-year generational cycle, as symbolized by the classical phoenix. He discusses the ultimate in mind control and ancient art and the financial control, the secret societies and their blood occult rituals, and how they wage all wars throughout all time through the nations that they have created, which are all imaginations, plantations and mere corporations. They have taken blood oaths to surrender their self-will and mind to their blind goddess who has demanded our blood from the very beginning of time. They communicate to their minions through the movies, TV and print media, while he can see, read and interpret most all of it. It all says that they are using us for our ingenuity, for our collective, constructive labour, for experimentation, and in the end, they intend to kill us all. They have given us full notice of what they are doing and what they fully intend to do, while all of the general population, the sheeple, they merely go there to be entertained. The New World Order is the Old World Order from the beginning of time. There is a major cosmic natural disaster that is about to happen on Earth, and they know it. But they are cleverly leaving us, they are cleverly leaving us in the dark. Hence the reason that they have built hundreds of underground bases all around the world, while they are leaving all of the people to remain unprepared, uninformed and above ground, so that when it comes, the mere 5% who will survive above ground will die from the weaknesses and disease that has been generated from all of the poisons that they have been feeding us, from the chemtrails to fluoride in the water, to tainted vaccines, to fake food, etc., etc. They have enslaved us all by the clever means of deception, because we, most all, are their cattle, chattel, property, because they merely wanted to harness our labour, what they always needed, which is what backs most of the world's currency through the birth certificate. But they are all through with us now. It is written in stone, as it can be seen written in the Georgia Guidestones. To know the truth is to be empowered and to be prepared. We may not be able to stop what has been done and what is about to happen, but the innocent and decent people on planet Earth deserve to know. And that was written by Dezert-Owl. How's it going, Desert?
Good day, Ninja. Doing all right?
G'day.
So then, for last night on the Paradise Story by two firemen that were interviewed, retired firemen, fire captains, and it's on plaintruth.info is the YouTube channel of plaintruth.info, and
I haven't seen that one yet.
Everybody needs to see it. What's that?
I haven't seen that one yet. I'm subbed. I saw it come up,
Right,
but I haven't watched
Deborah
it.
Ferreira also posted it on her channel, and it's number 44. And anyway, the devastation, that has ensued is it's when you see you have to study this stuff, like a journalist, and you have to hear all different points of view and sides to size these things up. People merely look at one clip or something, and they, you can't interpret something that way. You have to hear as much point of view as possible, as many eyewitness accounts as possible, to get a really good picture of something. And it's just like the Sandy Hook thing. I didn't know that it was a staged event. When I saw it, I shed tears over the hearing the story. And one day, somebody on his channel talking about another issue said, "Oh, by the way, the Sandy Hook thing, don't give it any of your energy. It didn't happen. It's not real." And it's like, I said, "What did that guy say?" When he said that, then I went back and I analyzed everything I could find on Sandy Hook, and I found out, hey, it's true. It was a psyops. It was not a real event. That it was what they call a false flag event to create the scenario for justifying taking guns away from people and further winding down of freedoms here in America. But yet, of course, now Paradise is a different deal. It really happened, but it wasn't a forest fire. In fact, most of the forests in the community didn't burn. It's rather interesting. But looking at all the different scenarios and learning about the roads and everything else, the bottom line, and I know the fire chiefs didn't want to address the issue because in their hearts they knew the devastation of death was worse than we could imagine. But basically, in other words, they didn't want to give out numbers. So forget numbers. Let's just there's another way to put it. Basically, the way the roads were set up and bottlenecked and everything, and the fact that there was no notice given to the people, no emergency warning. It came so fast that and then the houses exploded. The houses that were being targeted were literally exploding from within with a burst of energy. All of these things combined, it would be a fair statement, I think, now to say that at least half the community didn't make it out. That would be a fair and reasonable statement. That half the community, that would be if the posting of 27,000 residents was correct, then we're talking, over 10,000 people didn't make it out, and that's why they put them locked down with the military operation. This is all the evidence is there that there's some type of microwave energy that was used because of the guardrails that all their posts of the guardrails burned, but yet the grass all around the guardrails didn't burn. Anything that wasn't grounded absorbed the energy and ignited whatever was flammable next to it. So the heat, just like when you put aluminum in a microwave oven, what happens? The aluminum goes on fire. The energy reacts with metal for some reason, and so anyway, everybody has to see this because it's coming to a neighborhood near you. And in fact, at the very beginning of the clip, there's two craft in the sky at this in the darkness of this
Wow.
Event in the clouds, and you could see the blue aura. There's a blue aura. I'm trying to remember best, but it seemed that there was a light emanation of blue energy coming from these two craft. One was a bright light, as if it were, it was just a bright light in the sky, but it looked like a flashlight type of a glow, but just and then next in another craft that was to the right of it, you actually could see a blue energy beam. Not like the other kinds we saw where it came to the ground, but you were looking up in the sky, looking at what clearly are two craft just hovering there. They're not moving, and one of them, the secondary one, has from his light, which is more like a blue light rather than the other craft, which would be like just a white light, like a star. The blue one, literally, you could see waves of energy coming out and expanding from it.
Wow, I have to watch that. I so have to watch that. Wow.
Yeah. So I realized that what these probably are the next generation of anti-gravity false flag UFOs.
Yeah.
That these are the craft they're going to use to burn up all of America, and probably Australia and Europe and the rest of the world. These were the craft of World War.
Multi-purpose.
The classic War of the Worlds invasion that they staged as a psyops in 1933 with Orson Welles, or was it H.G. Wells? I can't remember now the guy. But where they pretended that New York, Long Island, and New Jersey were being invaded by Martians.
Yeah, over the radio.
And to see if people would react. Yeah, that was the classic. And then so now they're getting ready. As it was Werner von Braun on his deathbed, the former SS stormtrooper Nazi, creator of the V2 rocket, mass murderer, becomes head of NASA, and on his deathbed tells the secretary that the last card they're going to play is the UFO, the phony UFO invasion. So they're going to burn up every home, probably in America, with a mass invasion of false UFOs, and that's how they'll take down America in classic Hollywood style. That's what's coming. It's pretty obvious because the craft, you couldn't miss it, and the waves, the way they projected out, was as if the waves were on water. The blue wave was just coming out in a oval type of a shape, but yet it was fluid, and it was just coming down, and so you could literally see the pulsations of this ray. It wasn't like a beam; it was like waves of energy coming down from the craft.
We get the same waves filming the sky, like coming from the sun, the fake sun. The same sort of waves emulating out from it. You can see it in the sky, you can see it. Sunset is the best time to see that. But same effect. So I can picture what you're talking about. Yeah. Were the craft still triangle, or have they changed shape? Just out of curiosity.
No, you couldn't see the craft. You could only see the light. From them.
Okay, I'll have to have a look at it.
The fact that they were hovering with this type of in this scenario, I got the picture that these were the next generation of anti-gravity phony UFO invasion craft. They've always had, being honest, the One World Order has always, from the beginning of recorded history, when the Watchers fell and they started building pyramid civilizations, they've always had anti-gravity craft, and that's been written about in history throughout time. And we see them in graphics in the Vatican and such. So it's just a secret to the brain dead mass that's out there.
Yeah. I just asked that because because the one that I caught in a picture that did the lightning strike that started the Canberra fires back in 2003, that wasn't a triangle shape. It was a different shape. That's why I asked, but I'll have to have a look at the video. I'll see. Do my little research thing, take some screenshots and enhance it and see if I can see anything. So just curious, that was all. Please continue.
It's real. It's real. The devastation was here, mass genocide. They can now kill 10, not instead of just like with the two columns, the Twin Towers. Now instead of 3,000 people, they've now killed 3 times more than that. They've now killed maybe 6 times more than that. Over 10,000 people would be a fair guess, because there's no way that that 50,000 people, which is probably the actual number, 50,000 people escaped down those narrow roads with only two ways out, three at best, you know, and with no warning, with no announcements on you know. So it's bad, you know. It's bad. We're there.
Yeah.
I became a political activist around 1990, and with my first organization, I was developing Council for the National Interest, antithesis of the Council on Foreign Relations, trying to connect people and everything. And I was working with a retired intelligence officer, and we talked about the Project Blue Beam back then. So I've known about this for 30 years almost, you know, so here we are. And
we're here. Yeah.
There's nothing we can do to stop them. You know, there's only 2 firemen, you know, who are waking up. You know, where the other ones? How come there wasn't? How come all the police, all the firemen don't go on strike and protest the fact that they're not going to be pawns in the game of taking down their neighborhoods and their families and their friends and their future? You know, because they're the only ones that can stop it. Plus the military. You know, just if they would all stand down, throw down their badges, and say get lost. You know.
Yeah.
But they won't do that because the pay. You know, the good pay is good and the perks are good, and then you got the control.
Yeah, they're mind control. Yeah.
Locked in. It's all locked in. You know, the Freemasonic Lodge looking pretty good over there in Paradise. It didn't get a scratch.
Huh.
You know.
Yeah. Something strange I noticed tonight, because I still have a TV going. I watch it occasionally. And a movie they played tonight, it was actually one of my favourite movies that I was hoping for there to be a second one, but they never made a second one. But anyway, I Am Number 4, that's what it's called. And I noticed I didn't watch the whole thing because I'd seen it a few times already. I was cooking dinner.
What's it called? Iron?
I am number 4. And it's about, just quickly, it's about a teenage boy discovers that he has supernatural abilities, and then is told that he's actually from another planet, and he's like the hero. Anyway, and he has like blue light coming from the palms of his hands that he, yeah. Anyway.
Sounds like David Wilcox, you know. He said he was, his claim to fame is that he read 70 books on UFOs and aliens, and now he knows everything, and then he's visited by aliens. They tell him it's his job to save the world, you know. He's drinking a tear while he's telling the story, you know, so he thinks it's true.
Anyway.
Classic mind control.
Anyway, I never noticed this before, but I was watching the end of the movie, and there's obviously good guys and bad guys. Like there were the good aliens, that was the teenage boy, and he had to find the others. There was 6 of them, I think, and he was number 4. And there was the bad ones, and looking at the movie tonight with what I know now, I think they were kind of coming across as Aryans, because the good ones had the blonde hair and the blue eyes, and
of course.
Yeah, and there was the bad ones, and we are
the Klingons.
And
we're hanging on.
Yeah, and and right at the end, of course the good guys won. They were leaving town. They kind of left it open-ended because there was supposed to be a second movie, but they never did it. Anyway, they were leaving town. They showed the sign for the town, and it was called Paradise. It was called Paradise.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy.
My
Predictive
jaw
programming.
fell to the ground when I saw that. I mean,
How old was the movie? Well,
the movie, it'd have to be, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I think.
okay.
Yeah, and just that they're playing it on TV now.
Right now.
Yeah. Ah. And
There
just
you go. Even the people in Hollywood, are in on the deal, of course, and it's all along. It's a Jewish, Khazarian Jewish front is a main player in it, but of course we know it's the Jesuits and the Vatican, and the Hindus are behind it. So it's all layers of the onion. Everyone's got their job. They're doing it. It's all based on their handbook is the Babylonian Talmud. We are the chattel, and they don't need the chattel anymore. And so they're winding down. They're closing shop while the world is imploding.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. My jaw's still on the floor, does it? Yeah.
So where are we on the signs of the times? If you had any final points.
We are up to, what did we do? We did pseudo-politics.
Yeah.
Okay, the next, this is appropriate. The next sentence is, it is the grand deception that is used to control all of mankind, and all instituted through the three main religions of the world in particular, used as their grand cover. Just the control of all mankind,
Okay,
after what we were talking about just then.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure. So we'll back up to the grand deception.
The grand
because,
deception. Yeah.
The greatest art of warfare is deception. In other words, what's more expensive to create a battlefield scenario where you got to put people and armaments and machine there, or to create the illusion of something, And so obviously the grand deception is the greatest art of warfare, and I'm sure that's probably what it says in Sun Tzu. It's been 20 years since I read Sun Tzu, so I can't remember, but in the art of war, the element is if you want to absolutely have a chance to winning a battle, you have to 100% know yourself and 100% know the enemy.
Yeah.
And if you only want half a chance, you have to at least know yourself or know your enemy, one or the other. And if you want no chance, don't know anything. And I think you're gonna figure it out, because that's where most people are coming from. They're coming from a state of total ignorance.
Yeah.
And just like I was thinking about, I guess earlier in my sleep today. Last night, I was thinking about how people, when they come to their awakening, so called, and they're having their religious experience, wanting to find salvation, and then they lock in on their King James Bible, and how all of a sudden now they've got it. Now they know everything because they've seen the light. To use a cliche, a book that's no different almost than any other translation that ever came after it, because they're all tightly controlled by the grand deception.
Yeah.
And so literally, the people will die to defend the King James as being that word authoritative, right in there, just like it's a magic spell, the authorized version. Therefore, God, I guess that's the Pope, because God is the Pope. That's another grand deception. That who is God is the question, because our original words was Elohim or Elohim in the more primitive, or Yahweh, who the name is pronounced as Yahweh, and there are no W's, and I just read that out of the dictionary from the 1700s by Johnson. So in other words, without having learned anything, they are now experts in the cause. And will fight to defend it without having actually ever learned anything about literature, ancient history, the conspiracy to control our thinking, all the things that factor into whether this would be a legitimate work or not. They know nothing but they will defend it, to the death.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, okay, well, I guess I need to learn how to read. I better get some dictionaries. I better, find out where this version comes from. Oh, it's just the authorized version. Then what is what version was authorized before 1611? How did 1611 suddenly become so important? Wasn't any version prior to that? And then they throw in the words in the cover page of the book, originals, taken from the originals. Well, guess what? There are no originals. There haven't been any originals for practically 2,000 years. So original what? There's only copies of originals. There are no originals. You see, but they throw those words in there, so it's a lie. It's based on a lie. And the people buy into the grand deception right out the gate because they've been trained.
Yeah.
They've been trained to accept what they see without questioning it.
Yeah. Question everything.
Yeah. So,
yes.
Yeah, we have to question everything. That the scripture says to rightly divide the words of truth. And then, of course, then they put phony words on there called gospel, and they're telling you right in your face, hey, stupid, go spell. Because if you can spell, you'll find out you're under a spell because the words aren't the originals. Not only aren't the documents the originals, but the words don't even mean what you think they mean.
Right. Yeah. What we're saying, the words we're saying now are all wrong.
Even from a primitive dictionary I had in there, the author of the dictionary said the word read is re-add. It's two words, re-add. And he said because it means to re-add the riddle. History in Welsh is the silent story, and there's the serpent, the hiss, means silent story. So hiss means silence, like shh, only it's hiss, but it has the same meaning. And so so people, the grand deception is total. It's everywhere. The money, they call it money, but it's not money. It says it's a note, but it's not a note. It's a note is a promise to pay. You can't cash it in for gold or silver. We call it a dollar, but a dollar is a weight measurement, like a quart or a liter. It's a weight measurement. It's not a dollar. And so they've given us all these false narratives. Just like they get us going to the computer, and you got to start cursing when you use your computer with the cursor.
Yeah.
They're having such a party on us that they're like rolling over, hitting the floor with their hands, kicking their feet, laughing. I can hear it because it's such a profoundly perfect. They want people want to be awake. They say good morning. Hope somebody in your family dies today. Good morning. They've reversed everything. In our universe. That's what the occult do. So the deception is complete. And they even got the police to work for them. To people with families and hopes and dreams for a future, so that they're now working to destroy the world. The psychopaths of Freemasonry, they brag, they profess to be the creators of our society and our world, while at the same time then they brag that they're destroyers. Albert Pike said, "We wage all revolutions." They're proud of the fact that they've waged all the wars from the beginning of recorded history. Maybe they went by another name at the time, but for the last several hundred years, certainly, quote unquote Freemasonry has, they waged the French Revolution. They're involved with the Jewish kites out of New York with the Bolshevik Revolution. Bolshevik means majority, and it was 100 Jewish kites that came in with a rail car full of gold into Russia to take out the Romanov royal family and murdered them. So the deception is that when you keep people dumbed down, then they make good sellouts and good whatever, and just like the guy who was blamed of shooting Martin Luther King, James Earl Ray, he didn't do it. Just like the guy who was begged for killing John F. Kennedy. Kennedy. He didn't do it. All of these, even the guy who was Sirhan, who was supposed to have killed Robert F. Kennedy, John Kennedy's former Attorney General brother, who was running for president. He didn't kill him. They get people, put him in a position at a key time when an event happens, and then they're the patsies. These psyop operations are done by highly trained professionals, and then the media is working with them. The Khazarian Jewish media is working with them. Even the mafia themselves here in America, like the Chicago mob, they were all, for the most part, Jewish mafia, and that's never brought out. You see, because it's the Khazars, and the Khazar Jews create Hollywood. They moved in and made Hollywood. So they're the linchpin for the Vatican. It's just an amazing thing how when you control all the technology. I don't control the technology. I don't even know how to take the iPhone apart, let alone build it.
I don't even know how to set up a microphone.
What's that?
I don't even know how to set up a microphone. Apparently it worked tonight, though.
Right.
Anyway,
right.
Keep going. Sorry.
Is our audio doing all right? We get an audio check?
Yeah. We're both 10s, so all is good.
Okay.
It worked.
All right. So literally, this, who would imagine who could imagine that there's a conspiracy to control mankind, and that literally the same group of people control what we call the education system, which means to what they remove from your brain. Ed means to remove, and then they control the universities. I did a presentation a long time ago on the Universitas, that all the universities can only hand out degrees under the umbrella of the Vatican. So it's all Vatican controlled. The Vatican apparently owns virtually every observatory in the world. So obviously something very important up there in the sky for them to want to keep looking out there. So because that's the ancient watchers, the ancient Vekaresh watched the sky because they knew how to read the sky and the phenomena that would periodically come in and change all of life on the planet. So they were the ultimate think tank, because they knew how all things operated. They were connected with Yahweh. They were connected with the one from the beginning, and they were pegged to have the big download of knowledge and insight, and even with the knowledge to perpetuate their life for 1,000 years, apparently with serpent venom being the key element, and that's why people don't, these people we know about don't live that long, but certainly I think that they still at least live to be a 500-year-old using the same technology that they did back before the flood. And so they have a blueprint that they follow, and they work on 500-year generational cycles, and they bring one civilization up, and they take it down with the next better deal. That's how you see it. When you look at Egypt, and it never was called Egypt. Egypt is a word that they invented 350 years ago and used it for the King James Version, and because it was Mitzrayim, and then they take up Babylon, the next great civilization. Then it's Persia, Media, and then after that it's Greece. Look at those monuments. They built those beautiful monuments on dirt poor land. Those people were dirt poor. How could they build such a civilization without major industry, in their corner? And how did they make all those fantastic shapes and sizes and pillars? It's a feat of engineering that's beyond our comprehension. But then they move out and they go to Rome. Rome becomes the final stop for the world headquarters, the front office. And when they do, they pull the alphabet with them, and the Greek letters we see today in Strong's Concordance is not the original Greek letters. They're very much akin to the Estrangulo that they gave to the Syrians and the Eastern Christians. They stole the the original alphabet, the original Aramaic alphabet, and gave them a phony one called Demotic, which the version is called El Strangulo, and it sounds like it's demonic, and they strangled them, and they did, because they had to destroy the originals. Had to. Because the originals could set us free. But if they control the documents, if they control the words, then they control you. They control your thinking. The priesthood controls you. The priesthood runs the world. The government and the military are just the puppets and the pawns. They're doing their job, or else. So the Grand Deception is total, complete, and only people fall through the cracks, like me and others. They fall through the cracks. They can't buy into the liar. They've been touched by the great Father of Light to wake up, so that they could help wake other people up.
Wow. Yeah. Sorry, Desert. I'm all wows and giggles. Yeah. Wow.
Well, what was it? Did I get off topic? What was that last part we were supposed to be talking about?
The Grand Deception, Desert.
So the Grand Deception.
Yeah,
read it again, so I get the the thread. The first, from political pseudo politics, and then from there. How does it read?
Yeah, we did that. That's what I'm saying. You didn't go off topic. We were talking about the Grand Deception that is used to control all of mankind with the three main religions.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Right, and the three main religions. Well, the opium religion is the opium, you see, and so that's why the Roman political state morphed itself into a religious state, because they know that the best way to control mankind is through the opium of religion, and so that's how they do it. And it says there the three main religions, but really, when you read that, I realized they probably should have said 4 or 5, because then when I wrote that, I was thinking of Christianity, what we call also Judaism, and pseudo-Israel, and then Islam, which was created by the Vatican circa 600 AD. But yet then we would also have to include Hinduism, and Brahmanism, and Buddhism. So there's really 6.
Okay.
So India itself has 3 main religions, with 1,000 others that follow it, because they're all fronts. They're all fronts for the priesthood. The priests all know it's a party because they're having a party. They're raping children, drinking blood, getting stoned, or taking their drugs, whatever their drug is, and power being the biggest of the drugs. That you're in a secret society, and everybody's stupid.
Yeah.
And you know stuff. Yeah, that's a power trip. But in the end, of course, they go to dirt. They're from the dirt, and they go back to dirt. And then when they come back, because they're certainly, they created the idea of hell and damnation, to terrorize people into the Catholic Church, that you're going to burn forever, slave, if you don't, join us and take the host on Sunday, which is a symbol of the Luciferian moon. And so they've done a pretty good job of the disinformation, of the nature of things, just like the simple explanation for how the universe got here. Oh, it just blew up. There was a big bang, and now everything. The explosion just branched out. That's not how. That ain't even close. To explaining the beauty and the symmetry and the vibration of harmony that Yahweh brought forth the universe in. And one day I can express it in words, Eshabors, because you can read. If you can read nature, it's telling the story. You see, and so it's very subtle, and certainly it starts with vibration, and then it becomes sound at one point. These vibrations, but they create all the material essence, starting with the atoms, and then the atoms combine and create gases and compounds, and then they ultimately come together to create stars.
Wow.
And then they're spontaneously ignited into a star. Once enough of them come together, and that's how it happened. And out of the star, out of the mix, come the moons and the planets out of the star. It's so simple. There's, it's a little deeper than that, but that's a simple way of expressing it, and we even have a picture of the sun giving birth to a planetoid or a moon, whatever it ultimately became, or becomes, because it had a 100,000-mile umbilical cord on it, and then it detached. We actually saw it in the picture, detached from the sun. So the sun is the mother star, and so naturally, that's why we circle around the mother star, contrary to the flat earthers who can't interpret nature, let alone scriptures, because certain scriptures certainly talk about a solar system, because it's all about the sun of righteousness, right? SONSUN, and the light is at the center of everything, of course, and everything came out from the light. It's rather tragic how people don't know who they are, where they are, why they are, when they are, and the majority of the people, it's like everybody everybody basically is not saved. Everybody I know. I don't know. In other words, I don't know. I'm on the road to coming to fulfillment within the scriptures for myself through the knowledge of the truth that has been revealed through a long process of time of decoding and pulling away the curtain, to see the way it really is and to then know something. But it's like everybody there's nobody out there that's saved. They think they are.
Yeah.
But yet when you talk to them, when you watch them, when you observe them, when you hear the things they say, you know it can't be true.
Yeah, it's getting easier to see.
They put it to every.
Yeah, sorry, it's getting easier to see. Like for me, it's getting easier to see that.
Yeah. And so what does the scripture tell us? That many seek to enter in, but few, very few, are going to be saved, because they're not willing to put up the effort to have the mystery unraveled for them. And the truth is, for most of them, they could never do it. They could never do it, because the scheme is so great, the deception is so great, so fantastic, that they can't even begin to imagine it, how it works, how the game is played, and the wool that they pulled over our eyes, and the words that they've re-engineered. Like when somebody says, I believe in Jesus, and Jesus is Zeus, the supreme god Zeus, the healing Zeus, Isis. Oh, spin on the word Isis. It's the hidden woman.
Wow.
And then Christ is
Wow.
Yeah. But I believe. Well, if you look in the Latin dictionary, like the one I have from 1812, it says that believe means to give little credit to something. And then everybody, so a little credit. They just said, I believe in Jesus. I give a little credit to Jesus. That's what they just said in the code. And then, they're. I don't want to lose my train of thought here, where I was going with this, but it's complete. I'm having a senior moment, so just jump in anytime you want.
Just trying to think of what you were just saying to try and help with your memory. We were talking about people that are saying they believe and that they're saved and they think they're saved, but they're not, because they're believing the deception and the lies, and I don't know where you were going with it too. Yeah.
And most people are followers, so they're going to follow somebody that sounds right. In other words, the guy on television, or the good-looking one, they're going to dress really fine and just seems to know, they're going to follow them. And then they find out that they've been lied to. That's how they've created all these multiplicities of, for instance, Christian religions. The Christian, 600 different versions of Baskin Robbins. What flavor do you want? You can have it your way, babe. And it's just amazing. So it will be a miracle to escape this darkness in this world into the light of Yeshua. It says one has to die to to the world. One has to forsake everything, forsake even family who are dead because they're not going. And if your family will be your worst enemy to keep you from transcending, because they're going to mock you and make fun of you because you actually care. You actually want to connect with who made all things and to to wake up to who you really are. The people of the world will become your best enemy, trying to deflect you from doing that, and will do it unconsciously.
Yeah, that's my
can't
family.
Buy into it.
Yeah, you just described my family. Yeah.
Sure. Well, it's a family just like most other families. There's rare exceptions. There are lots of good people out there, very good people, but yet still they can't figure it out either. They're just good people, but the ability to realize, just like who do you go tell here in the community, that paradise was just destroyed by alien-looking craft, and the houses exploded by ray guns, and maybe at least 10,000 people were incinerated in their automobiles or in their homes. Who's going to right on Technicolor, right on national television? And since I don't watch television, I don't know how much attention the news gave. But what I heard was that they have some snowstorms, and then the media immediately focus on record deep snow and cold temperatures, so that we forget about paradise real quick.
Yeah, it wasn't even on the TV here. We barely hear about the snow here. They don't tell us anything. Yeah. I'm in Australia, by the way.
But the good news is there's one who made all things and directly is connected with us. The one who can help us is hiding right in front of us, and he has always been with us.
Yeah.
He's here, and and he cares about us more than anybody else. More than anybody else, he is the divine love. He is the one who has the answer and the way back home. But most people don't get the picture of the true story. The true, in other words, how the operation of soul novation. Because there's a word that they don't use in the scripture, but it's salvation and soul novation. It means creating a new star. That's what Abraham was told, that your seed will be like the stars of heaven. And so soul novation, not salvation, not salivation, like you're dripping, your mouth is watering for a hamburger. It's not salvation, salivation. It's soul novation. You're not salivating. And then the other words, repent, means to rebreathe with the breath of a star. You see? Such beautiful poetry within these Eshavors, the original word, being the eye of the royal center, the Eshavor, that is the center. Communication is the center of everything. Without communication, we go nowhere. We can't build anything. We can't agree on anything. So we're animals then, and that's what we see the evidence of, that these Freemasons are the most disgusting creation there ever was. They brag that they're architects and creators and builders, and they're, with their handbook of morals and dogma, they say they wrote the blueprint back in the late 1800s. Albert Pike out in Little Rock, Arkansas, after he was one of the Southern generals in the Civil War, making sure that the South would lose because it was all planned that way before the first shot was ever fired. A Vatican operation, Jesuit operation. Albert Pike writes the book Morals and Dogma, and they laid a blueprint. Now there will be 3 world wars, and the last world war would be they would use the Vatican creation of Islam to take down the last remnants of pseudo-Christianity, which was just a slight reminder of the original Christianity from the East, because Islam destroyed it in the East right after they were created in those first couple hundred years after 600 AD. All the places today in Africa and the Middle East, and where you see Islam today, it was all Christianity. Peaceful, loving, forgiving, hopeful Christianity, all in these regions. No wars, no hatred, no arrogance, those self-centeredness, but monasteries after monasteries of people just wanting to know truth about who they are, where they are, why they are, and when they are. And Islam is used to destroy all the knowledge that remains on our planet. And then now they're making them the police officers and the military officers and soldiers, you know. And so yeah, you can see it in the movies how they pumped up Islam. You know, they do that because they know, you know, they know that they're a player in the scheme, and they've been given a power trip, a psychological head trip that, you know, you can get away with this and you can do what you want to do and you can have several wives and get on welfare and a whole head trip. You know, it's all it is, head trip. It's all in the head, and ain't nothing there. It's just empty, void, dark. Back to you.
Okay. I'm happy to just let you go on. We have a question. I don't know how to pronounce your channel name. Yeah, so.
Oh, is it the guy in Ireland? Is that Jerv?
Yes. What
Okay.
happens? What? Okay. Okay, good. What happens to the unsaved? What happens
Is that a question from Jerv?
Yeah, what happens to the unsaved?
Well, the unsaved. Well, the beauty behind true spirituality, as we can identify that the great Father of Light is divine love. Well, the divine love certainly doesn't want anybody to be tortured forever and ever and ever because they were stupid, you know, where they were mind controlled or brainwashed. And that if somebody fails to meet the operation of soul novation, well, with the ancient philosophy, even in the scriptures, if we read the Aquarian Gospel, which is misnomered and it is the original Gospel, then they'll find out that if you don't make it, then your soul somewhere down the road, maybe on another planet, you know, I'm not saying there's not life on other planets, but we don't fly around in spacecraft going through wormholes to each other's planets. You know, that's the great deception again. But that the divine love is that you would come back and have another opportunity to transcend this world. I don't make a philosophy or a teaching out of reincarnation, but it appears to be true. It appears to be a true philosophy. And but Yeshua, when Yeshua came here, he told the Buddhists, he said, "Look, you know, you keep saying you got to come back 1,000 times before you can transcend the world. The good news is, if you put on the perfection of light of your, of the great Father of Light, you don't have to come back. You know, you can do it now." And so that's the great mystery. You know, but our soul is eternal. So obviously, our soul has to go somewhere. And if it didn't make it back home at the calling of the light, then naturally it's still in the darkness, and will then have another opportunity of regeneration. You know, it's I have no doubt, that that's the answer, because it's in all the ancient philosophies. You know, it's ancient philosophy, and it was also in our scriptures, but it was taken out when it went west. When our scriptures went west, you know, they took it out. It's been written about by others as well from that ancient time. You know, so yeah, it's all an open secret.
Yeah.
No torture. Sorry to disappoint you, but you're not going to be tortured forever.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. That's reassuring.
We all figured out what's going to happen to us, right? We all figured out what's our ticket, right?
Yeah. Hell and purgatory, and yeah. At one stage, I was thinking this world is hell. I went through all that, and then I thought, oh no, maybe we're stuck in the in between. Maybe we're in purgatory. But now I know the true nature of this world. Yes.
The great light is shining, and it is saying, come unto me, all you are tired and weary, and I will give you the eternal peace, the shalom of eternal peace. And so we have to give all of our energy, all of our, love, to use the King James Classic, love the Lord your God, or the great, or Yahweh, who is the great Elohim, with all of your heart, with all of your mind, with all of your shul, with all of your soul, with all of your knowledge, and He will give you rest. So it's 100%. It's not 50%. It's not 75%. It's not 90%. It's 100%. He's not fooled. He made the universe. He made all things. He made us. He made the eye. Like one of the classic scriptures says, "He who made the eye, can he not see? He who made the ear, can he not hear? He who made the mouth, does he not know?"
Yeah.
And so it says He knows how many hairs are on our head. Why? Because He is the first atom. He is the first atom. He is connected with all things. He is all things. But His Spirit is not in man, because man is in darkness. His Spirit is within all of life. But there's one creation that He's not in, and that's mankind, and He's not of this planet. He comes from the light originally, but He fell into the darkness to have an experience, and that if He could reject the fallacies of this world, the falsehood, the trappings, the illusions, the grand deception, and come out of it, He could live in a day without end, in a paradisia, in the light of the pure energy that everything emanated out of. Everything is a product of energy. And we go to the source when we go back to Yeshua. You see, He's offering something so fantastic. It is the culmination and the end of creation. We wake up on this planet and think, oh, here I am. I just graduated high school. Now I know everything, and I know why I'm here and who I am, and we're going, let's party, boys. Instead, it should be, wait a minute. Okay, I've got the firstborn are dead. The firstborn are rejected. And see, even this story just really came clear to me so well over the last week or so.
Yeah.
And it is that we have to be born twice born. We have to be the second born. We have to be born again. And I never saw it in that terminology, because I was reading all of these stories over again about Jacob, Abraham, and Ishmael, and Esau, and all, and always, and Leah, and versus Rachel, and it was always the firstborn is rejected. And I saw the pattern over and over and over and over, and all of a sudden it hit me. Yeah, okay, that means the firstborn aren't going. That's what we are in the world. We're the firstborn. We're all firstborn on this planet, in the sense that we're here for the first time, as far as we can tell. Forget,
reincarnation,
because it's an irrelevant story, because I don't ever remember being here. Therefore, what do I want to make out of it? It's the fact that as far as I know, I'm here for the first time. This is my first time being born here, but I've got to be born. I got to be the second born, and so then I can go back home. And so therefore, that's where we have to see things with new eyes. We have to see things we've never seen before.
Yeah.
And read those scriptures over and over and over, because if we do it with a pure heart, a pure mind, and in the creation of light in prayer, then they will open up to us, even though they've been corrupted, even though they're under control of the priesthood, they control the words, they open up. They did a pretty good job of deflecting the full flower, but nonetheless the bud is still there, and it will open up if you give all of your heart and all of your attention to it. So it doesn't happen by accident. You don't stumble in. It's with definiteness, purpose, and a crying out for a redemption of your soul. Okay, it's praying for your own soul salvation, because it is a gift, and it is and many. It said even many people would seek to enter in. Many would go through the waters of purification, but they were not going. They were not honest with themselves. They were not honest with Yeshua. They, or they just didn't get it because they were still following the deceptions that man created. And so, yeah, it's a full-time effort, And it's been just 40 years now. Well, actually, I've got almost 50 years of study since age 14 of ancient history, but literally over 40 years since I started transliterating. I was about 22, okay, when I started transliterating. I'm 62, so 40 years literally of transliterating. While I read the scriptures, I transliterate while I read. I change the word into what I felt was the more correct expression of it, starting with words like angel. Oh yeah, angel was one of those words I didn't touch on, which if you go into the Latin dictionary in the back, that 1812 version I told you about, it says the angels are the English. Those are the Anglo-Saxons. In the Middle English dictionary, Middle English dictionary I have, it says again English. Okay, angel, A-N-G-L-E, A-N-G-E-L, don't matter, same word. Angel. They got us on the hook. They are from the Germanic, the Anglo-Saxons, also were they Teutonics, and then in the Greek we find them being called in the mythology the Titans. The Titans, you see, so they're there from ancient mythology. They're in our scriptures. They're in Greek mythology, and they're there as the Teutonic Knights, and they were holding the torch. They as I've been learning, the Deutsch, they switch out the D and the T, and it's Deutsch, and then there's the word torch, and so their woman is holding the torch. Lucifer is holding the torch, and they are the torch. Blonde hair, blue-eyed, pure Aryan at the core, represented the torch, the light of the sun, and so it was as if creation was made for them.
Wow.
Well, obviously, because they were the ones who were given the great enlightenment to know about all of the secret energy of the universe and how all things were made, and so they capitalized on it. They said, rather than serve Yahweh, we hate the Father. We don't want the Father anymore, and that's why they do everything. It's called the Black Sun, to put the Father to bed, and that's why they embrace the Mother, the blind goddess.
So
hate the Father. Go ahead.
Sorry, I love it when you're on a roll, but I have a thought.
Well, that's the Egyptian god Thoth.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Don't be happy because that's another Egyptian god. Go ahead.
You never cease to amaze me, does it? My thought, where's that gone?
Your thought is gone now. Sorry.
Yes, it's got. No, it's back. It's okay. So the ego took over, like the flesh, the ego, the lower vibration took over, and they decided they were all powerful and they were gods and they didn't need Yeshua.
Right. They were spirits put into the body of a serpent.
Yeah.
The body is the serpent, and therefore they deceived them. They allowed themselves to be deceived. Obviously, the lower senses are the serpent that drives us into wanting an ice cream cone, or to wanting to play a game, or to have whatever the passion is. The body is being driven, the psyche is being driven by the body, whereas the body needs to be driven by the mind. So we're slaves. Like we see people who are extremely overweight. They can't stop eating. The serpent is running their lives into the ground.
Yeah.
They can't stop, and so their mind is weak, and the serpent is strong.
Yeah, I get it.
Shirt pants.
Yeah.
Shirt pants. You're putting on the serpent every time you get dressed. When you're naked, put an S in front of it. You got snaked. You are the snake. When the sperm, which is the sporum that comes into the birth canal of the woman, looks like a serpent. When we came into the world, we looked like a serpent, and it's still a serpent. You see, it's just full grown.
Yeah.
They disassociated us from these stories and the pictures, so we never would get the picture. But yet the serpent was Adam. Adam was the Naga. He is the one who gave birth to the Aryan race that conquered the world, that fell, the fallen ones. He was the first Aryan that fell. Eve was naive. It wasn't her fault. She didn't know nothing. He's been up there in the throne of the sun with Yeshua making all things. Yeshua's making all things, and it said that Adam was given to name all things because he wanted to see what he would call them. It's right there in Genesis. Go read it. What's the second, third chapter? It's right there. But yet the transliteration is so bad that it's all broken up and nobody really gets the thread, the real picture of what's being said there. And that's what I'm about to do, is I'm about to transliterate all that correctly because it's finally all opened up to me after so long, and the grace of the Father, who really wants us to know. He wants the story out.
Yeah.
He wasn't meant to be steamrolled over by priesthoods. They're the tricksters. They're the darkness. They're
I know.
They're the dark angels. They're the angels. The dark fallen ones.
Yeah.
Men with their women.
With their women, yes.
Well, the priesthood got rid of the women. It's really a male-dominated cult, but they embrace the woman because the woman is matter. It is nature. It is the mother. It is the motor. It's all of those things. Yeah.
Wow.
They had to disassociate the priesthood from women because if they had families, they might decide they love their families and their children.
Yeah. That makes sense.
They had to make him into homosexuals and perverts and psychopaths in order to make sure that they would do their job,
Yeah.
Did we cover the Grand Deception okay?
I think so. You did pretty good. Did pretty good, Desert. Do you want another one?
No, I think maybe I can get into some words a little bit, and now we can get off the psychopathic grand illusion and get into some something deep now with the Ace of Wars, because people
good.
need to be able to see and read it for themselves.
Yeah.
You want to give me a break and just give out my information, and then I'll pick up part 2?
Okay, and I'll just say hello to Yalov. G'day. How's it going? Hope you're well. I'll give out Desert's information. All the necessary links are in the description. As well, we're broadcasting on this channel while Desert organises a replacement computer. His channel is called the Forbidden History Series. Everything you need to know. He goes more into the words. Goes more into everything. Everything you need to know about the code, about the deception, about anything is on his channel. So go back and listen. From June 21st this year, it's all there. And he's also the author of the Real Da Vinci Code Etymological Dictionary. You can get a sample of this dictionary through the links in the description. You can contact me, my email's there. We'd appreciate any size donation, but if you don't have the funny money, quote unquote, Desert, we will give you a copy anyway. You can also get a copy of the Book of Wisdom and a sample of the original Gospel with the dictionary attached, which is a more up-to-date version of the dictionary. You can also contact Desert by phone on 608-566-7295. I think Lynn wrote it in the chat as well. Again, that's 608-566-7295. Add a +1 at the start. That's +1 at the start if you're international. You can call him or send him a text. You can also contact him via www.therealpublicradio.net. That is where you can donate. It will take you straight there, and you just hit the donate button. It's therealpublicradio.net. That link is also in the description. I think I've covered it all. You good to go, Desert? Or will I sing a song?
You can sing if you like, or we can get back to the program.
We'll get back to the program. Did I miss any? I need to practice my singing skills. It's been a few years. Did I miss anything?
I knew where my talents were, and so.
Yeah, I don't even know if I've got a voice anymore. Like, it's been that long since I've sung anything. I used to love singing. I used to sing everything, everywhere. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
back in the day.
In the beginning.
In the beginning.
It says was the word. They always want to put it past tense, but of course it would be present tense always, and so it's in the beginning is the word. In the beginning is God, and but the word, and then in the Greek you go and it says in the beginning is the logo, and the logo is a symbol. And so, what is the logo? That's the question. But of course, as you know, with the Transliteration Project, I go back into the Indo-Germanic. The Greek and the Hebrew are being controlled by the priesthoods, and have been such. They had to get there was two basically forms of most of the translations of our scriptures were in the Aramaic, but some were put into the Hebrew because they were trying to reach, of course, the priesthood and the wealthy, and which in essence is another culture, and so they had to remove from the Aramaic, which was very expressive and the key to unlocking the mystery. Hold on a second. So anyway, the Aramaic was prime for unfolding the great mystery, and because it's the original. In other words, it was what was breathed into Adam. So they had to get away from the pure diction of which virtually was unchanged from the beginning. That's the nature of true diction, that it doesn't change. It stays the same. And that's why it's given to us in pictures and symbols, because the symbol doesn't change, and the word for the symbol doesn't change.
Yeah.
An apple is always an apple, or fruit, fruit is always a fruit, or a snake is always a snake, a tree is always a tree. We can carry these images down through time and not lose the picture.
Yeah.
And then we have to interpret the symbol. Then we simply interpret the symbol, and then we get the thread of the story. But in the beginning, is not the word and not the logo, because that's not the original. Those are the replacements, and we have to go back, and it is Aisha Vor, and of course it's been a lifetime of preparation to have discovered this clearly and to see it, and it's absolute.
Desert.
And and it is the Aisha. I'm sorry, did you say something?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to butt in, but I don't know if we're still going. It's started doing it again. It's just gone red. So I'm not sure. It's still going, like the OBS is still going, but I've just got a red line. Can you guys
we're still going. right now, so let's just
We're still going?
keep it up, and somebody will let us know
Okay.
if we're not broadcasting, right?
Okay, keep
Somebody
going.
will let us know.
Keep going. Yep.
All right.
Sorry.
Right. So the word is Eshavor, and Asia.
Yeah.
You see, it started with the A. The A is the first letter of the alphabet, number 1, and so what would be the first letter of the very first word that describes all words, but other than A? Then Shah. Shah is the royal, and so literally the Asia means royal eye. Well, we see the word on the map. You know, they still have Asia Minor and Big Asia there on the map, and Asia was not the name of the continent, but it was actually described the Silk Road. It comes there because of the Silk Road that came from China all the way to Africa and Europe, and it was because why? Because Asia means royal eye, and only the royal eye would go down the Silk Road, because obviously the royals were the prime sponsors of the caravans that would go into the other lands to get their mineral wealth or their other treasures and their secrets and bring them back. And so it was the royal eye. The eye is the road. You go down the road with your eyes and see. And so the Eshavor, the vor is the vortex. That's at the center of everything, and that's where the light is. That's where the sun is. And so the Eshavor in the beginning is the Eshavor. And are you getting an audio check? Are we still good?
Yeah, we're still good. It's gone green again. Everyone's saying keep going, ignore it, so it's all good.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So what happened was so these other words come out of it. So in Eshavor, we can hear the word. Drop the A for a second and just call it Shavor. In the word Shavor, because the A is the eye for looking, and so it's the A Shavor. So in the word Shavor, we heard the word Savior, the A Shavor,
Wow.
the Savior, the A Shavor, the eye of the. So you would use the word the eye. So it's the eye of the shower. The A Shavor is the royal center is the eye of the shower. The A Shavor is the eye of the Savior. The A Shavor is the eye of the sword. The
Wow.
point of the sword.
That's
Shavor, yeah,
amazing.
sword.
Sorry, keep
Yeah.
going.
And the sower, and the eye of the sower. You see, because he's planting a seed, hoping because the seed is his Savior, and he needs the Shavor, the shower, for the shower is the Savior, and so it's all relative in the sense that, we need rain, we need seed, we need knowledge, and it's all Savior. It saves us. Knowledge can save us because we can then know who we are, where we come from. So Asia is even left on the map so that we would not forget. They put it on the map just like they put everything in our face,
Yeah.
but we don't ever get the picture. So what's happening, I got a couple Indo-Germanic dictionaries to just here over the last week, because I realized, well, geez, if I'm wanting to know the science perfectly, I've got to get a couple more books on this that I had never acquired before. I've been studying it independently, mainly with reading the scriptures and Yeshua leading me down the trail. I've got over 40,000 3x5 cards with notes on them. He allowed me to be able to see into the alphabet without even having these particular books. But these two books that just came in just became a gold mine for me, and it opened up a little deeper. Many of the Eshavors that I'm dealing with right now, and the one that I'm dealing with is the S and the E. So in other words, the way I was able to define clearly that Israel is really Asia Real, which is really correctly Asia Re'ul. Asia Re'ul is the correct way to say it. But the Asia, because the Issa, which is the woman, is the corruption. It's not filled with eyes like ISIS. You see, it's the A. They removed the A and put the I. The I is a symbol of the blind goddess. It is the blind. And you remove the I. It sounds like your eye, right? Like your EYE,
Yeah.
because it represents the eye, but it represents the blind eye because they put the mud, the Masonic mud in our eye off the mortarboard, so we couldn't see once we graduated, from their education. And so in the Indo-Germanic, it was talking about the root of es, and I already had learned that the essay, which is a legal term in essay, ESSE, means it's always there. It's in other words, like the common law. They can't destroy the common law. It's there, but they made their statutory law to supplement it all in the phony system. So in what it was saying in the Indo-Germanic root, es, it means to be, and when I saw that, it suddenly I realized that that's what it was about. That the s is esha, sha, es is in there. The two s's are also synonymous with that. We're dealing with root form, and therefore it's this form. It's that. It's es. It's as. It's ss. It's is. Ish. All these forms are the same root form, and the prime original is asha, asha, forward and backwards, asha, perfect anagram. That which goes out comes back the same way, because it's about the harvest. And so what it literally means, this asha means to be. You see, in the definition of this word asha vor, of this asha vor, is to be. Unlike all the meanings I already gave you, which is the royal center, which is the shower, which is the savior, which is the sword, and the word is the flaming sword. That's what they called them back 2,000 years ago in Aramaic. They would look at the book and say, look at the flaming swords on the page, how they're breathing fire. They spoke with imagery in dramatic fashion. That's how they got pictures. That's how they could make connections with their origin through the pictures of nature. And so literally, all of those meanings, and Asha means to be. And so doesn't that fit then? Because you may remember I said that the on the face, the word face is not face, it's mentioning the other half, and as they abbreviated all the words, and it's the fascia.
It's fascia.
It's what we see on the edge of a roof. The fascia board.
Yeah.
I used to nail fascia boards when I built houses.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was able to know because of that.
Yeah.
And so then I realized, it's fascia, and the word ace is an abbreviation of the word fascia, and that's ace is the highest point, right? The ace is the most powerful card. It's number one. It's the letter A, and it's the ace. It's the highest power, and it represents the sun, and that's the fascia. And there you hear the word Asha in there, and then it comes out as the woman. The woman is the Asha Fae. It's a reversal of the word fascia. It's the Asha Fae. That's what he said when he woke up. He didn't say you are a woman in modern day English. He said you are the Asha Fae. You are the mother of all living. And what he's referring to is the sun. The sun is the mother star and the mother of all creation within our solar system. You see?
I see. I followed all of that. That's amazing.
Yeah, and therefore, in the abstract sense, not the literal, which I've been giving you, but the abstract sense, Asha means to be, the royal eye of creation, right?
Right. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The royal eye of creation. Let me write that down, okay?
Please do. So you're up to 50,000 3x5 cards yet, Desert?
I'm working on it. I got to write this note because I don't remember if I coined the term the royal eye of creation, because as I talk, it opens up to me, as I'm talking.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, but that's what it means, to be.
So you got it written down?
No, it wasn't that thing that there was that famous quote, to be or not to be.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yep.
Maybe they knew something, right? Is that Shakespeare? I think so.
Yeah. You just made me think of another one. I am. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, yeah. And but there's more to that because they only gave us half of that as well.
Okay.
It's I am the one. I am the one because it's all about the play of the one, and therefore it could also be then construed as I am to be, because he is to be in us, right? Is he not? Is that not the purpose of creation, that he becomes the end product in us as he breathed into a star?
Yes.
He wants to, and ignited it. He wants to breathe into us.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Does it? Just wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I wanted to share with you. I told you about that the other days, and we didn't work yesterday. But so it's continually unfolding. It never ends. So because the rabbit hole is bottomless from that standpoint. It keeps on going. So I'll give you. I have a few cards I've been collecting as things have been coming through. So I'll give you some our friends out there some words to munch on.
To munch on.
Consider.
Please do. Yes.
We're in Munchkin land, right?
We are. Yeah, not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah, it's Munchkin land. And so world, as it sounds like, to spin, whirling around, and nobody ever gets that picture. I never did. So one day.
Okay, I'll just stop and listen now.
But were is the primitive root of were, and were means creation. And so old, we see the word, a form of old in there as well. I looked it up in the dictionary, and world literally means old creation. So when they're trying to say that everything was made in 6 24-hour periods, the word world itself means old creation. And of course we can see all the geological evidence of a very primitive, very old creation. Go to Utah, the Grand Canyon, and tell me it's not old. They've narrowed it down now to where they say the world was created only 5,000 years ago. I mean, it's been 8,000 years since Adam and Eve, and so it shows you how blind they really are. And it may have been as long as 10,000 years ago when the Aryan race came, but it's within 8 or 10. And but people aren't. They don't study. They're not willing to pay the price for sacrifice to study. Because I had to surrender having a regular job, to do this type of work. I had to surrender to having an automobile to do this type of work. It's a sacrifice. All this knowledge and information doesn't come to you, like winning the lottery or something. It's through dedication to the cause. And so Yeshua put it in me to want to know. He designed my life in a way that would compel me to want to pursue this with a passion, because I saw my own inferiority within the world. I saw my own weaknesses and what my parents did or didn't do for me. Free-range chicken. Learned everything he learned from his buddies in school. This is the worst way to learn anything. And so I learned had to make mistakes. Another way I learned things in my life early on. Once you make a few mistakes, you don't want to make them again. And so it's a hard way to learn, rather than have somebody put good words and thoughts in your head, and it would help you to avoid the mistakes. But I had to make a lot of mistakes. But so life was my teacher, Yeshua. Identified with him at age 16, specifically when I read the scriptures for the first time, and cried at the point when I got to the crucifixion. I couldn't believe this story that I only saw on the walls in the Catholic Church as I grew up in the first few years of Catholicism. I'm so glad I got out of that. But anyway, so that brings us to the next word, altar, because altar is, as you may remember, I said Walter means control. I talked about Walt Disney and Walt Destiny. So literally, Walt Disney means to control destiny, right? Well, we know that the MK Ultra Project Monarch mind control program uses Disney movies as part of their mind control platforms, their altar, to keep them under the spell.
Yeah.
And so there's heavy overtones of sexuality and mind control within the Walt Disney programming.
Yep.
And so interesting, they call television programming, right?
Yep. And they tell us everything that they're about to do, which is also controlling destiny. Yeah.
They are programming us with their medium. And so in the word Walter is and if we take out the L and change the W into a V, as no W exists in nature in the alphabet, it's Vater. There we see Viator, there's the Vater, the adder, the serpent, which is water. The water is a serpent, is it not? It flows like a serpent, goes in every direction like a serpent. There's your Vater. And but altar, if we realize the AL is two L's, all as in everything, and ter is tor, T-O-R for torque and turn, then we see it's altor. Altor, and what is altar, altor, A-L-L apostrophe T-O-R, what does it mean? It means all power. So from the altar then, as we talked about with the grand deception and the priesthood, that the priesthood has all power. And where do they get all the power from? From the altar. Because they get everyone going to the altar, don't they?
Yeah, wow. Again. Please continue.
Yeah. And then when they in Asia Rael, misnomer as Israel, when they, the reason they were condemned was because in the high places they set up the altar. On both sides were the pillars representing sun and moon, and through the altar they passed their children through the fire. They put a fire on the altar and passed them through as a type of ritual of a baptism of fire. And then at the same time they did sacrifices on the altar. And so Israel was destroyed because of this ritual. And of course then the Twin Towers became the picture of that. The grand finale, so to speak, of all these thousands of years of the sacrificial altars with the two columns on each side. Now they're going to have the grand sacrifice, Masonic ritual of Moloch, where they're going to take down the Twin Towers on the sacred altar of Manhattan Island, and it's the 9/11 code, which is another sacred number within it, and of course in Roman numerals it's IXXI, and we see the two X's right in the middle that also create a picture of the Masonic compass and also the builder's square on the bottom of it. And so this is a code that's you'll find on buildings in Switzerland, the IXX10 and all that. So the altar, means control. It's water. It is all power, and then my footnotes here are to sea water and God Hapataya fire, which is in the dictionary of myths and symbols I was reading in there. I think that's what tipped me off on it, but I'm not going to read that. I just wanted to pass on the deeper meaning of altar, and then the word a branch. Literally, it said that out of Jesse a branch would come. In the Old Covenant, Jesse is the father of Tavat. Correct name for David. It's not David. It's Tabat, T-A-V-A-T, and the T's on both ends could be silent. And then you've got Ava for the prime root of the mother, because David represented civilization, unlike Abraham and Enoch and Noah and Osham for Shem. They were all perfect, but yet David, we see, wasn't perfect. He actually was a murderer, and he killed the Hittite. Can't remember his name at the moment, but he killed him so that he could marry his wife, and so David represented creation. That's my point. He represented creation. That's why it said that Yahweh loved him. You see, because David represented the guy who wasn't perfect and who was screwed up in his own mind and thinking at different times. While he was had a big heart, he had a great heart, but he let his mind pull him down.
Yeah.
And so his mind failed him at different times, and so the question would be why? Why would he love him so much when he was a murderer and did other things that were wrong? So it was. And why did Solomon become the king when Solomon is born out of adultery and murder? And it's because it's telling the story about our planet. It's telling the story about life. And so what it means is, and the reason it says that he would sit on the throne of Dave Tavah, because in the middle you see the letter V, and that's where the virgin light. In the middle is the virgin light. You see, so that's why when Moses went to see the burning bush, then what's the first thing he said to him? Take off your sandals. You're on holy ground. You're on virgin soil. And then the same thing with Joshua when he was getting ready to take Israel 40 years later into the Promised Land, and he meets the Malek, who was Yeshua, the misnomer as angel, and he says, I will tell you what you want to hear, but first you need to remove your sandals because you're on pure ground. So that's the V in the middle. In the middle of all this chaos and all this war and everything that is insane, the murder of an entire community called paradise, the Virgin is still here. We can embrace her, we can put her on, and we can be set free. The rest of the world is going down, but anybody that has a mind that can put on the right mind can be set free from this world. That's the good news. You can't save the world. There's still people today can't get over it. I've been in this arena now for 30 years when I became a political activist, and I learned the hard way by waking up on a concrete slab, looking at a concrete ceiling, with potential for, given the sentence of life without mercy, that I'd never get out, never see a daylight of freedom again. But because I serve a great Father who put me on the journey and who told me when I fell victim to a government sting operation, I'm with you, my son.
Wow.
I will deliver you. You are coming out. I didn't know how, but I got the visions. He told me I was getting out, but I was prepared to do the time because I didn't know what the visions all meant, exactly, and how long it was going to take. So you had to prepare, for the worst while you're preparing for the best. And so anyway, to get back to the story, the word a branch, also a shoot or a sprout, will come forth from Jesse, and that is the netz. It says in the Aramaic netzer, but it's an abbreviation. Again, it's all the words are abbreviated to Nazareth, and so that's the word Nazareth. There was no Nazareth. Nazareth was created by the mother of Constantine, just like they created the phony Mount Sinai in the Sinai Peninsula, instead of where it really was in Arabia, on the other side of the Sea of Aqaba, within view of the shore of the Sinai Peninsula on the other side. You can see the mountain. It's the tallest mountain in Arabia. And but a branch then means Nazareth. And Nazareth means a star ray that came down. That's the Indo-Germanic, Nazareth. And so they had to create a community because they had to cover this word, Nazareth. Because it's a power
okay.
word.
Yeah.
Now means that which came down. That which what came down? A ray of a star. Yeshua is a ray of light from the star. We are all rays of light in the metaphor. We are all points of light that came down in the creation. And so Nazareth. So Zar is the original word for star, and we see the word in Meitzar, the original word for Egypt, Meitzar, and then we see it in Babylon with Nebuchadnezzar, and then we finally see it with the Kaiser, Caesar in Rome. So the Tsar, they're always claiming to be stars, while they're dead stars. They're black death stars, like his nemesis and the enemy of enlightenment. So Nazareth is the Indo-Germanic root of a star that came down, and Yeshua is the light that came down to shine into our beings the truth about who we are, where we are, why we are, and when we are. And then Abel, and let me see if there were any more notes on that. I pretty well covered that. They could go to Isaiah 11:1. Isaiah 11:1 will take them to the scripture that says, a shoot will come forth out of Jesse, and it is the Nazareth. And that's why there was also a Nazareth priesthood. and they could take the Nazare oath and be a Nazare for a week, for a month, a year, or for the rest of their life. However they wanted, they could take it on. And it was to remind them, and it was from the pure Aryan line. You see, it wasn't when it said that he went to Nazareth. He didn't go to Nazareth. He went to the Nazare community. There were a group of those who wanted to stay in the pure Aryan line and not to mix with other cultures, because that was an abomination within the scriptures. Not that other cultures are abominable. It's talking about the mixing of races. So, in other words, all people can transcend through the Mashiach. But the point was that the Aryan race came here as the sun gods, as the sky gods, in the terminology that we hear kicked around all the time, but they never get the picture of who these sky gods really are. But they came here to bring truth to mankind, and so they kept their bloodline pure in this Nazare line, this lineage that went back directly to Adam, not mixed. And so Abel is correctly Av-ul. There's no B. That's a code. It's a V. A-V. There's your star. Put the A and the V together, you get the 6-pointed star, which is a star of creation. 6 days were made in six points in 6 days, and the seventh day was the symbol of the rest. And so Avul, the L in enlightenment is hiding the original 2 O's, the prime symbols of sun and moon, the only points of light we have in our sky that are in direct relationship with the earth, not the stars. Of course, those are points of light as well, but we're talking about the 2 local lights in our neighborhood, the sun and the moon. And so the Avul, and that's Abel, Avul, and what it literally means by the code, by the AV and the OOL symbolism, because OOL means vision, a bird who sees in the night, the owl, and the AV is the star. So literally, Avul means the star of vision. And that's what Abel was. He was taking care of the Ashah, the sheep. He didn't work the field. He didn't have to plow the field. He was in his rest. And that's why his brother hated him in the symbolism, And so, but it's not only the star of vision, but it is the star of fusion. Because once you understand that you can be at rest and be at peace in Yeshua, where he says you have ceased from your own works, and it is now I who work through you. Therefore, you've got to stop and surrender. Then it's not just the star of vision, but the star of fusion, because you will be united with the great breath of the wind and fire, the Holy Spirit. And that's another word that just came to me yesterday, and I don't have it in front of me, so I'll save that maybe for next time. But yeah, literally, in other words, these words, these Eshavors, the royal center of something to be, are telling a story.
Yeah. Nobody's
interpreting these Eshavors, are they?
No, and it's a beautiful story, and just it
tells the story.
Yeah.
The story of creation.
It does. Yeah. And
so
I have some questions.
Okay. I can stop, but I need a break anyway. Go ahead.
Okay. These are just things that I wrote down because I didn't want to forget. When you were talking about Zar, the Zar words, and saying how it's the dark star, is that right?
About who? About what word?
The Zar words.
Oh, Zar. Well,
yeah.
Zar means star. It's the original word for star.
Yeah.
Now you can see the lightning bolt. The Z is the lightning bolt. The T is the symbol of sacrifice that Yeshua was nailed to. So what is the sacrifice? That the great one, Yahweh, would make this entire creation with all of its beauty and all of its grandeur just for us, so that he could have a people who would serve him. So it's a power. TZ are the first letters in Zar. TZAR. R is power, as an army, argument, arbitrary, arbiter, your arm, AR, power. So the AR is there, AR-15, rifle, it's all there. And so Zar is the original word for star, but I'm calling the occultic the black star. They turn our sun into the black star, but they are the occultic black star. They are not stars. They are dead planets. They are moons traveling through the void of darkness with no hope of return.
Yeah.
As black as it gets.
Yeah, I understand that, but it made me think of, when you were talking about that, made me think of when you were talking to me about the star words, like ST, when we were talking about stone, the word stone, and we changed it to, we saw one, and you,
one
with
star,
the
meaning one star, because everything is from the source, from the one. Big O.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Oh, did I answer the question?
Yes. You answered the question.
Okay.
And.
All right. I didn't mean to talk over you. So.
Oh no, it was just a thought that I was jotting down. That's all. Yeah.
The O is the one. You see, the O is the prime root of one. It's Vonnet. Vonnet means one eye. The V is right there in front of it. But the O, and it's also a symbol of eternity, right?
Yeah.
Because the line that creates a circle has no beginning, no end. It's infinite. It's continually going round. And so that is the symbol of eternity, is the sun as well.
Yeah. Okay? Yeah. I just want you to know that I love this because I've been seeing it since I started watching your channel. I can see the pictures. I can see it. But knowing it, no, that's not the right word. I can see it and I know it. But if I had to do what you're doing, I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to explain it. I wouldn't be able to interpret it. And I want to be able to at least attempt to do that. So thank you, Desert. This is fantastic. Like I've got the code breaker on my channel.
We're breaking the code. And the first thing is, before you can tell other people, is you have to see and read it for yourself.
Yes, and I have another.
That's what people think.
Yeah. I have another one. Just a thought.
Right.
You were talking about how they didn't want to intermingle with anyone else, like other races, because they wanted to stay pure. And that reminded me of royalty of today, who are part of the deception, and they do the same thing. Yeah. But it's a bloodline of whoredoms instead of a bloodline of virtue. Yes. Purity. Yes. Yeah. And that's all. That's all I had. Line... Go ahead. I'm sorry. Oh no, that's all I had. That's all. I was just jotting down some thoughts as you were talking. So. Is there any other anyone have a question out there that wrap it up? Yeah, I'm starting to lose my voice, so we probably need to wind it down now. Yeah, I'm losing my voice as well. Love is managing the questions. Love and Lynn are managing the questions. There's nothing in capital letters, so everyone's just having a chat. It's good. It's good. Love you guys. Okay. And Desert says hi, don't you? Yep. Or g'day. Yes. Yeah. That's H-Y. Yes. Okay. And the I, the H-A-Y would be the I. Hay, the reason the word hay, sounds like straw, right? The straw is the hay, because it's a straight line, and so that means the wording is the I. The A is the I because it's straight. You can see straight, and so that's again showing the evidence of that original thought within the diction. It's right in our modern time. It came all the way down the pike.
that's why I was able to see it, because Yeshua does reveal, but at the same time, he allows the code to come down, and as I've been reading in these Indo-Germanic dictionaries, confirming what I already knew to be true, and that was many of the primitive root forms are still with us today, and that's what I'm revealing within the code, within this fiction. It's not like some kind of magic formula where I'm the only guy on earth that could possibly do it. Anybody could do it. There are a couple dictionaries of Indo-Germanic that reveal part of the code, but not all of it, because they're not coming at it from one, a spiritual approach to the scriptures, and two, from a conspiratorial approach, from the fact that our world's being controlled and manipulated by wicked people of a priesthood. And so the elements that I have allow me to take it further than any of them ever could, from just coming at it from a scholarship standpoint. Not having the enlightenment that Yeshua gave to me, the anointing for truth, the anointing of truth.
I've seen a couple of other channels lately that are on a similar wavelength, I guess, with the deciphering. Like, they obviously know that we're being lied to, but the words, they're very similar, but they're not as beautiful. They're not as beautiful as these words. Like, you're the only one that I know of that has completely, what you were saying, I have no words now.
And spell it out. Spell it out like somebody else. Because, in other words, there's
you go right back to the root form. Anyway, sorry.
They're trying. In other words, the first thing that's easier is to determine that we're being lied to, but the harder thing is to unravel the mystery and to read the code, because it is a code, and a code is not meant to be broken. And therefore, what's happened with me is being touched by the great Father of Light. So it's not me. I'm not smart enough to figure it out. I was smart enough to know I wasn't learning anything in high school, and nobody cared about me, and I dropped out of 10th grade because I wanted to get on with my enlightenment. But the point is that I cannot take credit for this. I only was willing to go down the trail. I wanted to know, and so the Father put that in me, so that then He could show me. You see, and so it's meant for everyone. But I've seen everything that's out there, and there's a number of people that are doing their best effort, and some of them are doing a pretty good job. But yet,
they're missing just a little bit.
Half to read the Hebrew into the mother tongue, which is what the Indo-Germanic Aramaic is. It is the mother tongue of the Aryan race. It has nothing to do with the African race or the Chinese or the others that were there, the Neanderthal, Cro-Magnon, Baracus, all of these others. Baracus is questionable, though, because it could have come through the crossbreeding of the Celtic, red-head spotted, stained children of blood of Cain, but with the Aryans, so there are enigmas within our ancient history and our past that we may never fully comprehend, but the point is that this knowledge that came, is directly through Adam, but he was the first made, as it says in our scriptures, he was the first made from the earth, taken from the fiery magma. He is the blood of the earth, the blood of a star, taken up into the throne of the sun, which is the atom, which was corrupted into the word Eden, and he stayed up in the atom while all of creation evolved on earth, and then the other races came onto the earth through spontaneous generation, meaning they each had their own Adam and Eve, but they did not have the gnosis breathed into them. That's the only difference. They didn't have the gnosis. They had some gnosis breathed into them, obviously, because as a people, they were able to find herbs and build huts and live in caves and survive and make fire. So they had a type of a gnosis, but the big kahuna of knowledge about how the entire universe operated was put into Hadam, the first made and the last that came. And he is a type of Yeshua, A-D-A-M, A-D-O-M. Adam is a type of the atom, A-T-O-M. The first atom is Yeshua. So Yeshua is the first made in the cosmos, where Adam is the first made on the planet. And he was the last to come, just like Yeshua, the first made atom of creation, was the last to come 2,000 years ago. Can you see the parallel, the archetypal parallel of the Aryan?
Yes.
First made,
Yes.
Yeshua. Second made, Adam. But
Yep.
Adam is the first made on earth.
Yep.
He was the last to come in the line of creation on earth, and then Yeshua is the last to come in the cosmic creation for mankind, to bring him back home. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
All right?
I'm
First and
following.
last. So Yeshua was the first and last to bring redemption, and Adam was the first and last on the exoteric, not esoteric, but exoteric of creation. He was in the flesh, where Yeshua, being the only perfect creation, was the only one who could come here and to conquer death and to conquer the serpent, which is the flesh.
Yeah.
Because he was made perfect by Yahweh, whereas Adam was made by Elohim. That's why he was not perfect, because he was made by a copy and not the original. You see.
I see.
So this is part of the great mystery, and we can go into this in deeper presentation somewhere down the road. But we're following this
Cool.
state of time right now. Right?
Yeah.
We're going down.
Yeah. We should wind it up. I'm loving it. Desert, I can't wait to do more. Can't wait.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is the check in the mail? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, it's on the way. It's on the ship.
Well, my reward is just being able to spell it out, because it was death for me when I couldn't talk to anybody. Just prior to being able to turn on my YouTube channel, I had nobody at all, period, zip. There was no phone ringing, nobody to talk to, nobody cared. And then when I finally got my channel going on June 21st again, after 2 years of trying to work that thing out, not being a techie, and then June 21st, all of a sudden I had an instant audience with friends who had subscribed to my channel already. I was going to their sky watching channels and saying hello, and then all of a sudden they came over. And for the first time, like in my entire life, I have people now that get it, that
Yeah.
actually are following. So it's taken all these years to be able to spell it out. It's the hardest thing is to spell out what you're seeing inside, which is in your own mind. That's so deep and so beyond anything anybody can imagine.
Yeah.
Not to mention the conspiratorial aspect of it. The domination of our world by evil.
Yeah. I get it. I get what you're saying. Totally.
And how it all works. How it all works. Who can define that? Who can tell? Who can name the game and how it's really played? And that's what Yeshua has revealed to me. I never counted on being here and knowing all of this like this, but it's quite a burden. But the only thing that I gives me relief is being able to tell it to somebody else, because he didn't give it to me because I was worthy of it. He wanted it to get out to everybody else that could see and read it for themselves. People will mock it, they'll scoff at it, they'll turn it off, but certain people, they will get it, and that's all that matters to me. That a few good people can come to the next level of enlightenment and independence for the true freedom that they can aspire to in Yeshua, that will separate them from the darkness of this world. It's about soul novation, becoming a star in the darkness, and that will be a miracle. Thank you, Ninja.
Wow, Desert. I'm tearing up here. That's just that. Oh.
And with that, I'll let you go, and you close out as the stellar radio host you're becoming. And so thank you.
And
things you never knew you would do, and you take to the plate when we need it. Thank you.
I can't get over this, like what we're doing now. It's just, it's amazing. It's the most important thing ever.
Absolutely. It's the answer to a bad world.
Yeah, and
I'll let you go. Thank you.
Hang on.
What?
G'day, Shelley. Love you. So yeah, Shelley just showed up. So I just wanted to give you the chance to say g'day before you went. That was all.
Yeah, well, good day to everybody, and or good evening wherever you are around the world, and thanks for tuning in. If you find this interesting, then do tell your friends and family or whoever you think cares about the deeper aspects of life and creation and unraveling the mystery of the scriptures, because it wasn't handed to you on a silver platter wrapped in tinsel gold. Okay, it was given to you with mud thrown on it, slung on it, and it was stepped on. It was torn out. It was ripped apart. It was burned. Everything bad happened to our scriptures, and all we have is a remnant that's left. We had a library in Caesarea. We had a library in Yerushalayim Shalom. We had a library in other parts of the world, and it's all we have left is a fragment, 27 teeny-weeny little books, when there were literally hundreds of them, hundreds of letters, hundreds of documents written by the followers of the Great One, and now we have just a remnant. But they can get us back home if we can properly see and read it for ourselves. So that's what we'll continue on. Are we on tomorrow, or what do you know when we're back on?
Yep, good to go good there. Good to go.
Right.
Good to go, Desert.
And we'll look for you in 24 hours, and Ninja. And thank you again so much, and be safe down there, all right?
I will, and thank you. Thank you. This is amazing. This is the best one yet. It's just going to get better. Yeah.
All right, and we'll talk to everybody later on then. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. Peace and light.
Peace and light.
Okay, and that was Dezert-Owl from the Forbidden History series, and that was so amazing. I have no words except thank you, Desert. Thank you to Yeshua. Let there be light, and love you guys. I'm still tearing up. Just that was so deep. Love you guys so much. Thanks for coming. It was a really good stream, really good live stream tonight. Okay, right. I'm just going to find the music section, and and I'm so glad the microphone is working. I'm glad I went to the effort getting a new one. Okay, be safe. I know a lot of you are going through a few things at the moment, so you're all in my prayers, creating light for all of you. Okay, be safe. Love you guys. Bye.